I'm like, what are you using? You know, what's best? You know, hot press, cold press, this. So reluctantly, after a lot of pestering, he finally, you know, told me what it was. Nobody likes the new kit. Like, they're all Europress, you know, nobody likes it. Whatever, that's fine. I did. I would sit right there. Draw paint, draw paint, draw paint. I have everything over there on my adoption board. Maybe one or two pieces that are colored in. Everything over there was done with a paintbrush. I taught myself that. I'm very proud of that. The tarot card that's on Anthony's back, I painted that sheet of flash. And I got in all the bones with that paintbrush. Not perfect, mind you, you know. And one of the coolest compliments was from him. He was like, did you just do all of this with a paintbrush? And I'm like, I did. That's actually really damn good. I can't do that. I can't get all that detail work. I'm like, I got a compliment. So I would do more and more and more and more. It consumed my life. That's all that I woke up to. I missed out a lot of my family. This is what I wanted. I sacrificed a lot and still am, but so proud of myself for teaching myself that. It's the coolest thing. Painting. I love it.
What was the part that you found the hardest about being an apprentice?
Being a girl. Although the industry has a lot more lady tattooists, okay? It's not easy. I mean, you have to deal with creepy clients. You know, you have to, male and female, you have to deal with creepy coworkers. You have to deal with the fact that, oh, you're new, you're not gonna last, you're shit, you don't know XYZ. Having the courage to continue on. You've got critics. Not everybody in the world is gonna like your work. Not everybody in the world's gonna like mine, Williams, you know, whatever.
What was your favorite part about being an apprentice?
That I was an apprentice. Literally that. That I had that opportunity. I had lost it when I was 19, and now I'm in my 30s asking if I wanted an apprenticeship. Being an apprentice.
What advice would you give to yourself just starting out, being an apprentice, looking back?
If I could go back in time and tell myself how difficult the journey was going to be from then to now, that you're going to lose friends, that you're going to lose clients, that you're going to have clients that think you're shit, that you're going to go through hell. And if you aren't prepared to walk alone, you're not cut out for this. A lot of tattoo shops, they're cutthroat to one another. They will give scraps to the new guys. And they absolutely, not all shops, a lot of shops will treat their apprentices like garbage. Endure is what, if I could go back in time, endure. Don't stop. Keep going. It sucks, but this is what you want. I wouldn't change a thing.
Where do you draw inspiration from for your tattoos?
A guy. Everything.
Yeah.
Look around you. You can look at something and say, you know what? How would that look like as a tattoo? Or you look out the window here in the mountains and you see the birds fly. and you see that sparrow flying just right,
Mm-hmm.
and you capture that image in your mind, and you're like, I'm gonna make that a tattoo. Inspiration is everywhere if you know where you're looking.
Mm-hmm.
You could look at this lovely lady here and go, you know what? I'm going to do her face, and this is what I'm going to do. Oh, that rose pattern in the stained glass? Yeah. Like, you look at these things, and you think about, what would it look like in this tattoo? What would it look like this? Inspiration is everywhere. And if you're not inspired every single day, good beans. And if you're not inspired, if you can't look around and find inspiration in anything, you don't need to be here. Inspiration is everywhere. In the filigree on tapestries, or you could drive by a church and see, some really cool design in a steeple and stained glass. I mean, the molding on the ceiling. If you're not taking inspiration from living, this isn't the job. Like, don't. Do not. No.
What has been your most batshit client experience?
Batshit client. Okay. I don't know if I can say this with a straight face. Okay. So I was working in the city in my second shop after I left my mentor. I was working still in Cincinnati, downtown Cincinnati. And this client comes in. Now, it wasn't my tattoo, okay? This client comes in,
Mm-hmm.
and my boss is tattooing. I've got 2 other tattooists tattooing. And I believe it was my boss's client, right? And because he looks up and goes, hey, blah, blah, whatever, right? And okay, so what are you trying to get done? Being a good little receptionist,
Mm-hmm.
because if the stations are full and you're not tattooing, you're the fucking receptionist.
Mm-hmm.
You're here for the shop. You're
Yeah.
not going to go home. You're going to do something,
Mm-hmm.
regardless if you get paid for it or not. You're here,
Mm-hmm.
right? this client wanted a butterfly,
Mm-hmm.
but not just any butterfly.
Okay.
The body of the butterfly,
Mm-hmm.
please don't get weirded out. The body of the butterfly was with veins. Okay, so that was the body of the butterfly. Its antenna were right. The wings. The wings were 2 ladies licking. I'm not fucking lying to you. I'm not lying.
Did they really get that tattooed?
Yes, she did.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Right. Man, the guy that would come in, okay, so the rumor was
Mm-hmm.
that my boss tattooed this guy's forehead
Mm-hmm.
for the formula on his forehead. Okay.
Okay.
Hey man, money is money if you're willing to pay for it, blah 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 blah, right? That's why our slogan here is classy, not trashy. Because there are just some things that I'm like, no. Right? And you saw the weirdest things come in.
Mm-hmm.
People are weird, man. Like, I try not to judge, okay? But, like, my opinions are my own. But if I'm like, you want this butterfly okay, like, what do we call it? Can we technically post this online? Like, how much is too much, right? But no, dude, weird. There was another time we were closing late, and the venue next door had let out, right? And we always worked after hours, because we were from 12 to 12 every fucking day. But when that venue let out, they're a little drinky drunk, and they want fucking tattoos, right? Because somebody autographed them, or this was like my most memorable concert, and I want to do that. I want this. There were lines at times, and we wouldn't get done until like 5 o'clock in the morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, we wouldn't get done. Right? Dude, good money. Put out little, little bangers. Every little bit adds up, right? So the venue had let out, and within reason, if you're like, like, okay, well, you're not supposed to tattoo when you're drunk, okay? But money is money, and money talks, right? That's the way the world goes around. Money talks. So this group, it was one of the last groups of the night. One of them gets tattooed, and then everybody stands around like they're like, you got this, yeah, whatever, right? We didn't realize how drunk she was. She held it quite well, like a functioning alcoholic. Like, I'm like, oh, right? In the middle of the tattoo, which was an inner lip tattoo.
Do I know where this is going?
Mhm.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Grabbed the garbage can right in the nick of fucking time. Passed out on the floor. We had to call a fucking ambulance. I'm like, I'm like, so, yep. Oh, yeah.
So, anyone who's been in the shop knows you have a very eclectic decor style.
You're fucking right, I do.
What brought on that inspiration? What was the inspiration behind that?
I love antiques. I love art. If you walk in here, you don't know if you're walking into a tattoo shop or like an antique store or, like a painting gallery. Like, you don't know. You walk in and you're like, whoa, right? We're here, at least me, right? And you too, but you're getting there. It'll get way worse. You'll want to be here all the time. But I'm here, not recently, in the past fucking year, on the surgeries and shit. It needs to feel like home. You need to feel comfortable in an environment. Clients need to feel comfortable in an environment. I love the female form, every shape and size, but I don't want to walk into a tattoo shop where there's naked models, and like, unless it's like an art, you know. I don't want to see pornographic material up in your station or on the walls, or so just knowing how calm I am in my own home, I wanted to bring that here. I didn't want to be an intimidating shop. I play some intimidating music, from time to time.
Just a tad.
Yeah, just that. And it's questionable sometimes, but it, it's stuff that I know, won't offend people. They can come in and listen. Like, I've got Cradle of Filth on, and they're like, weird, and then fucking Stevie Nicks comes on, and then it goes to like techno, which I'm really into. So you've got all, and it's like, okay, but I wanted people to feel comfortable in here, especially ladies that come into the shop. Okay, I don't want to go where women are sexualized in a negative way.
No, me neither.
But like some of the stuff that I have on the wall, There's a couple of them on here. They're like 1920s. They're like old traditional tattoos. These are all black and white photos, and they're tastefully exposing themselves to show their tattoo work. You know,
It's appreciating the female form without sexualizing it.
exactly. And I knew that I did not want that. I knew that, and I knew being a female, especially an owner, you're going to have more ladies come in to want to get tattooed. And when they come in and they're comfortable in their environment, that's the very first step. If you're comfortable, and I can make you laugh, you know, like it's great. I don't want somebody coming in here and going, oh God, I think they're running a porn site in the back of the shop. I think, you know, that guy over there is ODing. I think this guy over here is, you know, is like fucking like dead. You know, like I don't want to walk in and go, I am very uncomfortable here. I do not wish to be here. It's so important to me. It is so important because tattoo shops have a lot of bad rep anyway. That's why I didn't get my apprenticeship at 18 years old, but I wouldn't be here. You know? It's not like I would never change a thing. It's so, so important. I mean, that's why we have water and candy. I'm like a grandma's house shop. And there's always, nobody can come in here and not find anything that, it's been in here since I've opened. How long have you had that? Since I've opened. I've never noticed that before. You know, so just the curiosity and people coming in and going, wow, you know, and just enjoying the moment. Especially if you're a client getting tattooed and you bring people, we can entertain them and then, you know, they can look around and it's not nope. Nope. Yeah. There are some tattoo shops that I had gone into and the floors were sticky. There's extremely loud music playing, like loud. Smoking. You know, so like you really want to get out of there, right? Like, nope, don't want to be a part of this. Comfort. I don't want to see swimsuit models in tattoos being sexualized. Like I don't want that. I've never wanted that.
What is your favorite piece you have as decor in here?
You're making me choose between my children. I would have to say in the very back, next to our electric fireplace, that whole fucking area, right? I have a little Kodiak Grizzly. When I say, listen, that thing's almost 100 fucking pounds. Like that's heavy, right? That thing's heavy. She's little. She's not full grown, but I have a bear hanging on my wall. I've got a table back there, you know, flowers from, or not, yes, flower arrangement from up the street here, you know. That's my corner. I love that. My Chucky and Tiffany dolls. Yeah, I love that. I know that I could go back there and be, you know, comfy. This is really fucking cool, you know. A lot of people just come in here to take pictures of the bear, you know, them with the bear. And it's like, yeah, you know, come on in, you know, whatever, right?
I even took a picture with it the first time here.
That's like that. Oh, you get tired. Getting sleepy.
Just a little bit.
Stupid. Yeah. What about you, Eds? You have any questions for me?
I think Ash here has covered most of them that I've thought of.
I can tell people out there who are thinking of an apprenticeship, who are in an apprenticeship, who finished their apprenticeships and are newer in tattooing. This is not easy. You don't get in this business to make money. You get in this business to make art and to do art. If your primary focus is making money, then it becomes a fucking job. You know? This is not a job. This is a career choice that we chose. And for a lot of people that are starting out, you know, does it get better? Yeah, it gets better. But you have to apply yourself. You have to keep drawing, painting, you know, Procreate's a thing. I never had Procreate ever, right? And I can draw up a lot of really cool designs, you know, and I'm like, fuck yeah, right? But if you're going to prove to the world that you can do this, you better follow through or quit. Because sometimes we eat hot dogs. Because that's all we can fucking afford. You know? Sometimes we don't eat at all because no business comes in. Sometimes bills get piled up because we're not making any fucking money. It's the love of being here. You know, you have to want to do this. If you're not fighting, you need to get the fuck out. Don't ever give up. If this is truly what you want and you're not in it for the money's nice. You know, once you get your name out there and, you know, people are like, oh, you know, like, the money's nice. Don't do it for the fucking money. And don't give up. I see too many new tattooists, too many apprentices, too many people who want to be an apprentice. I see too many of those people give up and quit. I mean, you hear every day, and you've heard it, clients will come in here every day, yeah, my tattooist quit. Just quit. Yeah, my tattooist, I had the change of heart and now they're going to school to be XYZ. My tattooist went and it has a warehouse job now and will never tattoo again because they're making more money in a warehouse. No.
When the money's good, it's good, but you have one day where you make $1,500. That could be the only money you make that month.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You've got to have a really good support system. If you can move in with mom and dad and get it done, do it. Like, hell yeah, dude. Got a good roommate that will help, you know, support until you are making money on your own. That's great. You know, watch for those red flags. If you're looking for an apprenticeship, for the people who don't have an apprenticeship, if you're looking for an apprenticeship, go hang out with your favorite tattooist. If you notice that the front desk garbage is a little full, you say, hey, let me take that garbage out for you. Where are your garbage bags at? Are they easily accessible, you know? Hey, I'll take out that garbage for you if you want me to. Obviously not stationed. Like, I'm not telling, you know, Joe Blow on the street to come in and, like, touch everything in our stations. No. Well, phone's ringing. Everybody else is busy. Hey, I got the phone. You know, hang out with your local shop or whatever shop you're trying to get into. Feel the vibe. If you have any red flag, leave immediately and do not apprentice there. You know, you've got to jive with the people. You've got to understand that you're the new guy. You're gonna get treated like shit. Not all shops. You're gonna get treated like shit. But if you're seeking an apprenticeship, be active in your tattoo shop. You know, print out that paperwork. Help your buddy at the tattoo shop, be involved. You aren't going to get an apprenticeship without one, getting involved. Two, a lot of places will not give you an apprenticeship unless you have a solid portfolio, right? Solid portfolios are, can you do fine lines? Like, here's some fine line stuff. Here's some of my traditional things. Look, I can paint portraits. I can do this. I can do that. So if you bring in a portfolio, and you're like, yeah, like here, like if you have an interview, bring a portfolio. Don't just come in and go, oh well, it's on my phone. I don't want to see what's on your fucking phone. I want to hold it in my hand and I want to look at it. Because you can Photoshop a lot of things, A lot of people will take images off the internet and like, yeah, look, this is what I did. And then they get in an apprenticeship and they're not who they say they are, Have a physical portfolio in your hands. Treat it as a job interview. Have your references. Bonus points if your references are your shop's people. Like, yeah, we know this guy, we know this kid, great worker, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other. You got to get involved if you want an apprenticeship. You literally came at Ash, literally came in for front desk. Literally. And what happened?
You asked me if I wanted a fucking apprenticeship
Why?
because I showed you a drawing.
Yeah. And it was a crash course. I don't play, man. Crash course. Look at where you are now. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm sorry, I was gonna answer, but I was running too much.
Get the fuck out of here. Go on, go home.
Are you sure we're
Yeah,
literally?
we're just gonna talk, or I'm just gonna talk, or if you go and he stays, I'm just gonna sit here and talk, fuck around and procreate, make some designs, talk about bullshit, and go on. Get the fuck out. Get out of here.
I gotta get my stuff.
Anthony, get out of her way. So now I guess I'm gonna treat this more or less like a diary at this point. But if this if this career path was easy, everyone would do it. If you don't have a backbone in this industry, don't get into it. If you're not imaginative enough to create something, teach yourself to do it, right? I had a lot of support. All across the board, I had a lot of support. Yeah. Now, even though I had, well, no, I can't say that. I had a lot of support when I very first started this. Next question.
I don't know, I guess, did that support continue when you decided to open your own business? Like, what, 6 years after you got into the industry? 7 years after you got into the industry?
What, opening my business?
Yeah, opening your own business, starting your own shop.
It was half and half. Obviously, my husband was like, yes. But, right? So, like, he was 50-50. Jamie was like, yes, but. You were all for it. You're like, okay, let's do this. And I'm like, but, right? Do you want any of that? It's really good. Want to risk it?
No, it's a moment.
But we're making beans upstairs with the rest of the ham in it. And then the support from like my mom, right? So she's been my biggest supporter, mom of Steve, not Mama Steve, mom of Steve. She's been like my biggest supporter, like, you know, yeah, whatever, right? Other than you, right? But then her telling me, like, admittingly, like, I didn't think that you could do this. Didn't think so at all, right? There were a lot of people who were rooting for me in my face, but secretly they were like, she'll last a year. Right? She'll last a year. Everybody thought that COVID was going to take me out. A lot of people did, right? And that's when we opened up, was during the pandemic, right? And we were delayed. Oh, happy birthday to the shop, by the way. Yay! Happy birthday! By the time this airs, it will be past. But I had a lot of people telling me I wasn't going to make it, that I wouldn't last. Don't tell me I can't, because I fucking will.